If you encounter quite a lot of resistance and social pressure and tension talking to people, and you would like to have it easier, just like your extroverted, charismatic friends, then I have a weird tip that might finally do the job for you. And to illustrate this better, I want you to imagine rails, train rails. Imagine these two fingers as a pair of rails, and then these two fingers as another pair of rails. Obviously, these rails just go on and on and on, but my fingers are too short. But the idea is that we basically have an intersection of rails. When we have an intersection of rails, we oftentimes have a switch, which is just made by an automatic mechanism or manually by a certain person in charge of the railway. This switch changes the direction the train is gonna go on. And you basically find yourself in the same situation in your social life. This main pair of rails that just goes forward on and on and on, this is you being shy, you being introverted, feeling so much pressure, feeling this need to just hold yourself back, this weird thing that's just holding yourself prisoner. And then this other path is the path of you being social, the path of you being carefree. What you need to do is to simply make this shift, make this switch manually. Choose to change the way you're behaving. And the weird tip I just talked about in the beginning, the way to change this, to make this switch, is to genuinely shake your body and take the conscious decision that from now on, I am just gonna be more social. From now on, I'm a different version of me. I choose to not give attention to the events of the past, to all of those things that are holding me back inside my mind, and instead just act proactively. Now, you might think that this is easier said than done, and perhaps you're right, but our minds are incredibly powerful. You have moments where you are just feeling so lazy, you feel like doing nothing, just laying in bed, wasting time, being on social media, scrolling. If you get a certain thought that makes you feel, for example, ashamed of yourself, or you get some piece of devastating news that someone, God forbid, someone dear to you went through something horrible and you have to go somewhere, then all of a sudden you just gain the ability to go ahead and do whatever you have to do. Your body just feels a lot more energetic because of a simple thought. Something as abstract as a thought just going on in your mind gives your body a lot of energy and power. One second you're just lazy, you feel like doing nothing, and then the other second, after a simple thought, you feel energetic and you want to just go ahead and smash everything around you. Your mind has the ability to make you social, just like your mind has the ability to make you energetic when you're feeling lazy. And this weird tip of shaking your body is coupled with this intention of just changing the way, like making the switch of the rails, changing the direction your life is going to. For example, you might have a certain day where you're just on autopilot and your autopilot is being reserved, introverted, not really talking to people. This conscious change is exactly what you need to start being more social. It's just a decision, it's something you decide for yourself. You are your own authority figure, and you need to be firm with yourself. In a way, we can imagine this as parenting yourself. For example, if you were to have a child, children just want to go through pleasure. They want to, for example, play video games 24/7 because video games are just very addictive. We all know that. You as a parent, you know that letting your child play video games 24/7 is not a really good idea. So then what you do is you take some firm authoritative, or I don't know what that word is. You take some firm action and you tell your child that enough is enough. You are only allowed to play for a couple of hours a day because more than that is bad for you. Now your child is obviously gonna not be okay with that. They are gonna feel frustrated, they are gonna make a tantrum, they are gonna start yelling around. But you have to take this decision because it's just for the greater good. So you take it anyway, despite the fact that your child is going through something uncomfortable, is feeling negative emotions. Well, this is exactly what you have to do for yourself in your social life. You have to take this firm action to just consciously direct yourself, your everything, your mind, your body, to being more social. Because unless you do it, you will just keep being invisible. Unless you do it, you will just keep being in your social comfort zone. There is a constant struggle in our minds between our lizard brains and our prefrontal cortex, basically between the part of our brain that just wants pleasure and ultimately survival, the part of our brain that is just something we inherited through millions and millions and millions of years of evolution, and there is the other part of our brain that wants us to make progress in life, to embrace uncomfortable situations for the sake of progress. Now, you are not the lizard brain. You are not just the autopilot result of so many years of evolution. You are your consciousness or your prefrontal cortex. So, in this constant battle between your prefrontal cortex and your lizard brain, you, like your prefrontal cortex, needs to take charge of the lizard brain, because otherwise you will just keep doing nothing. And in our case, your lizard brain just wants you to do nothing. Your lizard brain wants you to keep being shy, to keep being reserved and introverted, because that's easier. That's a lot more simple. You are already used to it. It's your social comfort zone. And your lizard brain is gonna start convincing you that that's the better alternative anyway. That's why you encounter so much resistance. But then again, this is the pill you need to take, the pill of being firm and dictating yourself to be more social. And I mentioned shaking before. Shaking is extremely useful because shaking is what we use to release our excess energy from our bodies. This is more abstract stuff, obviously, but the thing is, when you're going through your day, you have situations in your life that trigger you, for example. You have situations where you don't feel safe. And in those situations, your body generates a lot of energy that is not really necessary, it's not needed in your life, but you are just feeling threatened. For example, you are all of a sudden in fight or flight, despite the fact that you are just talking to a certain person, it's nothing dangerous. Your body perceives it as being something dangerous, so it generates a lot of energy. Because you don't take some time to allow that energy to go out, it starts holding you back. You feel a lot more tense for some reason. You can feel tension in your throat, in your face. You can feel tension even in your body language. You can't make the proper gestures because there is something abstract holding you back. This is the energy, and the best way to release it is through shaking your body. This is something animals do naturally, but we as humans, we just try to ignore it all the time. We still feel the tension, but we ignore it. We cope with it. We just say that, oh, but it's fine anyway. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm perfectly fine. But deep down, you just know you're not perfectly fine. So when you combine this like shaking of your body with the clear intention, the conscious direction of just starting to be more social, you basically give yourself the permission to be more social. You clear some of that excess energy that was holding you back previously, and you also have a very, very concise intention that you do want to be more social. This facilitates you being more social because otherwise you're just swimming against the flow. You know how it's been for so many years when you've just tried to make progress, so many times where you missed social opportunities just because you felt held back, you felt like you were a prisoner in an invisible prison cell even. And you missed all of those opportunities, you missed all of those nice social interactions. You have just been so awkwardly tense for no reason whatsoever. It's time for that to stop. So genuinely try to take this advice and try to implement what we talked about in this video from now on in every single social interaction you're gonna go through. And then you're gonna see that as time goes on, this will just become easier and easier and easier for you. You might even see great progress after the first time you try it, but it's not gonna be like night and day. You need to iterate it, you need to just go through it every single day, be patient, expect yourself to still struggle, embrace that, and then just iterate. This is just a small trick that's gonna facilitate you being more social in the moment. But the way for you to make the progress, like to genuinely change your belief system, to update yourself, is way, way wider. And I have a link in the description where I made a course encapsulating all of that information. It contains everything you need to go from a place of social anxiety, social tension, pressure, shyness, to a place where you're socially confident and carefree. And that's basically the highest version of you, the best possible version of you. That's the point where you manage to attract people to you and to unleash your authentic charisma as well. So go ahead and check it out if you're interested. I really believe it's perfect for you if you're struggling with these things right now.